Thank you for your question and for your lobbying in this area. I've made it clear in A City for All Londoners that I have a vision to create healthy streets across London to help improve the health and quality of life of all Londoners. I want to reduce traffic, pollution and noise to create more attractive, accessible and people-friendly streets. This will support Londoners to have more physically active lifestyles and will also deliver improvements in people's health and reduce inequalities. This approach will run across a whole range of policy areas, but some of the most important include walking, for example, through the pedestrianisation of Oxford Street, and also making local neighbourhoods easier to get around on foot. Cycling, where I'll be pushing ahead with providing protected space for cyclists across London. Road danger reduction, where I've announced the world's first direct vision standard for safer HGVs, and I'll be implementing a Vision Zero approach to road fatalities. Air quality, where I'm consulting on extending and bringing forward the ULEZ. And public transport, where I've frozen TfL fares and introduced the Hopper ticket to help people to make affordable and healthy choices. The Healthy Streets approach will be embedded in activities across TfL. I've asked TfL to report to me by the end of the year on how it will put health considerations at the heart of its decision making. I'm happy to share that with you, bearing in mind your interest. And the new TfL business plan will absolutely reflect this commitment. My officers will provide the support and advice all the organisations need to create streets and places for people. And through this Healthy Streets approach, we will together be able to make a real difference to the health and well-being of Londoners.
Great, that's a fantastic rundown of all the benefits of healthy streets, and it's really good to hear you run through all that so speedily. I've just got a report prioritising people, how to deliver healthy streets. I'd be really interested if you'd have a look at that.
Yeah, I've not seen that yet.
You've seen it, fantastic.
I've not seen it.
You've not seen it, but it has gone to your office,
Fine,
but that would be great. Just a few specific questions. One of the things that, in order to get all these healthy streets benefits, we're going to have to do a bit of culture change at Transport for London. One of the things is a bit of a computer says no attitude to traffic modelling and making decisions on our streets. I used to sit on TfL's Junction Review Board representing pedestrians. Time and again, junction designs that would make life better for pedestrians and for cyclists were thrown out by TfL's planners because the traffic models prioritise vehicle trips over walking and cycling trips. So now that you've said that you want to take a healthy streets approach, have we seen the back of computer says no modelling at TfL?
Okay, so that's a really good question, because I see why. I'm sure Valley's smirking behind you because she's blood, sweat and tears in relation to the modelling. Can I tell you where we are, because it's a really important question you raised, and I've been briefed on this, and I understand it now in ways I didn't before. And this is one of the reasons, by the way, why we've got a cycling and walking commissioner advert going out, and why we've had to pause before, because Val wanted to clarify lots of the things you're talking about. Let me tell you where we are. So we've been working, Val's been working to refresh TfL's policy and aiming for a healthy streets approach, which brings together a mix of pedestrian and local environment improvements alongside the safer cycling provision. So what we've been streamlining is what you refer to the decision-making process, that's posh talk for what you're talking about, within TfL, so that funding the various strands of work needed are brought together. Let me give you an example. If a new cycling highway impacts on bus services, they can also trigger the expenditure of bus priority investment to facilitate and speed up the route to another point along its length. The business plan for the next 5 years will ensure there's joined upness in relation to the modelling you're talking about. And one of the reasons why the Cycling and Walking Commissioner is brought together is so that the resources to the job in accordance with the things you're talking about and my manifesto commitments. But can also say it means us working closer with other organisations. It can't just be all TfL-led, so boroughs and partner organisations as well.
That's great working with boroughs. It's really important you've got a common sense of purpose with them. But can I just dig in just a little bit more to this, to the modelling? Will TfL's traffic models, the balance between pedestrian and cycle priority and vehicle priority, will that shift under your mayoralty?
We are reviewing that, and that's why I'd be keen for you to meet with Val to discuss the progress she's made. It is just, you know, I mean, it is blood, sweat and tears in relation to what's gone on in the past and trying to change the way of thinking. And that's why, just to let colleagues know, I mean, the Healthy Streets initiative we're talking about, there are 10 separate outcomes. And so it's quite complex, but it's really important we do this because, you know, our population is going from 8.6 million to 10 million by 2030. We've got to change the way we move around our city.
Totally agree with you there. Londoners complain about waiting forever to get a green light to cross the road, and the data shows that crossing times were shortened under the previous mayor. As healthy streets need to enable people to walk and to cycle, will Londoners get more green light crossing time under your mayoralty?
Well, that's one of the things that the Cycling and Walking Commissioner will be campaigning on, I'm sure. But just to explain to you the reason why what you're saying is so important, what we're going to do
Could you just do a yes no?
No, I can't do yes or no. Because
Try.
the business plan is for 5 years and it's going to be published in December. And we need to embed the Healthy Streets approach across TfL's decision making, which ensures every time we invest in London's streets, we improve the experience of walking. So it's not a simple question of yes or no.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on. A specific scheme here. In 2016, you told London Cycling Campaign that you want every borough to have a fair opportunity to have a mini Holland style scheme. What did you mean by that?
Exactly what I said.
So does that mean every borough will have a mini Holland style scheme if it wants it?
If they want to, yeah. That's one of the things that I promised to do is to increase the amount we spend on cycling. One of the things, and you'll see that there are fantastic cabinet members from Waltham Forest in the gallery. I've been myself to see the difference it's made in Waltham Forest. Businesses doing better. Streets are far more pedestrian friendly. It was difficult, but a can-do council working with residents to show the difference it can make. And so once we've got Cycling and Walking Commissioner in place, he or she will work, I'm sure, with councils across London to make sure we get more of the sort of schemes at Waltham Forest. And hopefully Enfield and Kingston will have very soon. Okay,
one of the successes of Waltham Forest was the way that they did on-street trials of some of the new road layouts, so that people responding to consultation could respond in relation to their real experience of the new street layout rather than fears provoked by a paper consultation. The approach of doing on-street trials, is that something that you support?
I'm not going to be prescriptive. It's for the local authorities to work out the best way of consulting.
But do you think it sounds like it worked in this case?
Well, there are 2 other cases as well. So let's wait and see what works and what doesn't work. I'm always keen to learn. That applies, by the way, also with the cycle superhighway. Let's not assume that everything's been 100% successful. So whether it's mini Hollands, whether it's quiet ways, whether it's cycle superhighway, I'm keen to learn what worked and what didn't work.
That's great. Always good to learn, and I hope the on-street trials are something that you eventually find are worthwhile. You mentioned cycle superhighways. Reported in the Standard yesterday that the cycle superhighway over the A40 Westway flyover has been cancelled. Now, this might be a really good thing that you've cancelled it, if because it's not a great route for cyclists to go over the Westway, but it would only be a good thing if you've got a viable alternative route. Do you have a viable east-west route as an alternative to the cancelled Westway flyover route?
Well, I mean, Val Shawcross is currently working on a lot of these cycling schemes, and the exact details of the new east-west route are still under detailed consultation by TfL to ensure it makes cycling in London as safe as possible, but to reassure you as Mayor, I remain totally committed to delivering it.
You remain committed to delivering an east-west route?
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. People will be very glad.